Hello, and welcome to the Heal Your Heart, Heal Your Life podcast, the podcast where we talk all things we've survived through, whether that be trauma, life lessons, and most importantly, how we've healed. In the hopes that if there's a listener out there somewhere going through the same thing and they're feeling lost on what they can do to heal their hearts, they can come to this podcast to hear inspiring stories from people who've lived through what they're going through. You are seen, you are heard, and you are loved here.
I'm really excited today to welcome Amanda Petra is a beautiful holistic visibility coach and creative. I was very lucky to meet Amanda on Threads, actually, a new social media platform, if you're not aware of it already, where she was helping platform other creators. And it's really interesting because I reached out to her, and it just kind of fell into the DMs, and then she's come back around in divine timing, I believe. And we've, absolutely reconnected. And it's been really beautiful to see your journey and like where you're going with everything. And I just thought how incredible to have you on the podcast to share your story and your mission with everyone. So I'd absolutely love to start with like, what got you into this space? Like, what was it about visibility coaching that really lit you up and made you decide this is it for me? This is my next journey.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. I'm so glad that we circled back in the DMs because like if we miss this chance to be like I'm gonna say friends, we're already friends. I'm coming to see you in Victoria. I'm a clinger. No, stage 5. But no, it was really, really divine timing. It was so good. And the conversation we had was so flowy. And I'm so glad we get to do this today so that we can talk more. And like I was saying off air, like you really bring out this I don't know. I like this self-understanding in myself and I can't stop talking. So this should be interesting. Um,
Can't wait.
I thanks. Becoming like a visibility coach. It just feels fitting. It was just like, we were talking too, like the path just kind of led itself once I let
Mm,
go of all this control. And it's an interesting title, but I'm like, when I was doing this creative work, helping people with their websites, everyone around launch time starts to get all weird and they have their own they have their own things come up, and I've just ended up leaning into like confidence coaching them or like directing them and just being like a presence that guides them. And the
mm.
more I leaned into my human design, like we'll talk about later, like the projector of being the guide, I was like, this is making a lot of sense. um and I'm someone that does what I don't know, I'm like a trial and error in my HD as well. And and it was just like me taking action and doing these things for myself, and that helped other people like be like, oh, I can do this too. And the visibility part comes from, realizing that social media is not the only way to like get clients, get noticed, get seen, get heard, and just finding these other ways that felt much more natural and much more aligned. And
Yeah.
then yeah, just really being able to help like lean in and help other people find that for themselves. It's just, yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how you said when people launch, like all these things come up. I think when people, and especially myself, when I first started business, it was just like, oh yeah, this is going to be fine. And I feel like your business grows as much as you do. You don't realize how much your life lessons just get so entangled in a business. And like, especially a business where you're selling yourself as a coach or, you're selling your services. I feel like it's just so much around like my confidence and like being seen and like how comfortable I feel, and even things like events, like hey, people don't come, like how do you go emotionally with that as well as from the business side of things as well. And I think there's such a balance and a need to have that person in your corner when you're not sure how the ticket sales are going to go, when you're not sure, how to become visible in this world where there's, hundreds of coaches online and things like that. So I think it's a really beautiful thing that you're doing. Um, I I know you didn't really, you seem really confident now when you talk and things like that, but I know that's not really where you started from. I'd love to know more about your story of like where you started and like what you've progressed through to get to where you are now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's been a journey. I'm like the complete opposite of someone who should be in this position, but I realized actually the other day I was like, my biggest fear has been like public speaking. I've fainted in front of people public speaking in my
Oh,
past. Yeah, I was heavily bullied when I was younger. I had so much anxiety. Even when I was really young, I couldn't handle Mondays. Like I was like, fuck that, I don't want to do that. Like my nervous system, like realizing now, obviously, my nervous system was so out of whack like my whole
Mm.
life. And yeah, I have a lot of I had a lot of fear, I guess. I don't know. But I would still, when I started to grow up, I started to take action, even with the fear, even with the anxiety, and just doing things that I wanted to do, because I was like, I'm not living like this. I'm going to go do something cool and travel and, you know, anything like
Mm.
I started riding a motorbike because I hated being seen.
Wow.
Because yeah, it was actually wild. I was like, why did I do this? Because it's really loud and, people love looking at them, they're
Yeah.
shiny. And as soon as I got on it, I'm like shaking, and like people are looking, and I'm like, I'm going to drop it. And that was
Oh.
one of the best things I ever did for myself. And that again is that tying back to when I found the word visibility, I was like, fuck, that's what I've been doing and helping.
Mm.
And that's what I needed. And it just like exposing yourself to these things is so important. And I'm like, well, I need someone in my corner to help me do that. I've been actually looking for someone to help me with that for so long, and no one did it for me.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of coaches that were like, just go do this thing, just go do that thing. And I'm like, for some reason, I can't just do it.
Mm. Mm.
And I had to work through all of my fear and anxiety. And then I got into like a whole grief part of my life as well. And that just was like the last straw. I was like, I can't be this anymore. And I went on a whole uncovering of like why this is, and like where it's coming from. And essentially, like my parents are both very fearful and anxious and things, and I just like inherited all of that. Like I was
Yeah.
born like anxious. Yeah, and it was like probably the best thing that could have happened. In I didn't really want that to be how it was, but um yeah, I think the best thing was just doing the like taking actions and then becoming a new person. And I was like, okay, well, um I guess in the end, I ended up just starting my business through the pandemic because I
Mm.
was like, I want to do something, but I didn't know what. And I became a creative. And
Yeah.
that was when I was still anxious too. And then you go in this business journey and you're like, I can't hide anymore. I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't stay the same. Like you were saying, your business grows as much as you do. And I love growing. But yeah, shedding away those last bits of anxiety was like more recent. And and then I launched my podcast, and like just untangling stuff so that I could do the next thing.
Yeah.
um yeah, and I was a creative behind the scenes, and like I was saying, like everyone just started kind of looking at me for more, and it was interesting. And I think I was very separated from like I'm just this anxious person. I'm just this whatever over here. And I'm not like leaning into what people are seeing, that I was doing things while still being scared, and I was still like taking action. And
Mm.
that seemed to trigger something in like a good thing in people where they're like, oh, I want to do that too. Help me. Yeah.
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 It just makes me think of like that quote, like feel the fear and do it anyway. And it's like how much more courageous things are when you do come from that place of like abject fear, but knowing on the other side, this is probably going to be a good thing if I do it. Like I know this will grow me as a person. And I know how hard that is for people to do. And like, I'm not surprised that people are coming to you like, wow, how did you do that? Please like teach us. Like we need to know because yeah, like it's a not an easy thing to be able to get your nervous system under control and to be able to not like, yeah, if you're fainting on stages, like how do you work through that to the point of like, all right, where you are now, I'm going to put on this massive event at the end of the year and like I'm going to get up on that stage and I'm going to do the thing. Like what was the journey in between that?
Oh my gosh, it's been a long one. I think it was, so I was like running my business, but for the last while it's been just like, how can I heal me, like how can I focus on me, and like what uncovering that, like while
Mm.
still letting that run. I don't know, it's been interesting. Like I've done a lot of like, I had to do a lot of body work, and in that sense I literally mean like I did chiropractics, and that changed part of me, like
Oh,
everything's
yeah.
added up to change me. That unlocked, I had a crooked spine that I didn't know about, and like stuff like that.
Mm.
And all of my anxiety and fear was like locked into it. You hunch, you shrink yourself, you do that. That was a huge,
Mm.
huge thing. Like literally opening up your chest and your body, and that physicality of I'm standing taller, and I'm, I've released the stuff that's literally in my muscles, in my spine, and like,
Wow.
because you hold emotions. And one of the things was too, like, uncovering that energetic, like, literal shield I had to, like, guard my chest from, like, all the bullying I did. That was a huge thing. I had to actually break down that physical wall. And then, like, I had to do those kinds of things and then start being like, oh, nervous system, I understand that now. How do I work with that? And that's what I focus on as well now, because it's huge. Because I'm looking at people and I'm like, you're not, like, actually afraid, or you're not actually pessimistic, you're literally just dysregulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like I understand that so deeply that I'm like, I can only, I can see it so much. But yeah, that was like some of the biggest parts of it. And yeah, just letting myself do the next thing. And like, I created challenges for myself, and then I did them, and I was like, one of the best things actually I do is write down the stuff that I've actually done, or like, or when something goes really well. Like, if I have a moment where my nervous system's like, oh god, let's panic, this person hates me, and then the situation unfolds really well, I write it down, and I'm like, see, that's not, like, the opposite proof is true. So I
Oh,
think
that's great.
that's a really key point, to actually reflect on these things that you've gone through, and moments that have actually proved otherwise, where yeah, that's got me the furthest, probably.
Definitely. I think that's such an important one. It's like our brain is just so naturally wired for the scary. And when something good happens, we're like, yeah, that's great. And then I just forget it like immediately. It's gone.
Yeah.
And it's really good to rewire the narrative that, no, not everyone hates you. Like, remember this time where you thought the same thing, but it wasn't necessarily true at all. And just that reality testing piece, and just rebuilding the narrative that, two truths can exist. You can speak your mind and then have someone not hate you. It's not always going to go the way that maybe it did in the past, that your nervous system is kind of firing against. And I really like that as a strategy, just writing it down and then coming back to it, like on those bad days when things are hard, and just being able to reread it over through that. I really feel like I just want to jump back to nervous system regulation, if you don't mind. I feel like in the collective consciousness, it's only really just dropped in around nervous system regulation. I don't know, maybe people have known about this for years, but for me, I've only really realized how integral and important it is to be working with that, like, is it the parasympathetic nervous system, and just making sure we are in that balanced state instead of in that perpetual stress state, which I feel like a lot of us are these days.
Yeah.
I used to just overthink everything and think that would solve the problems, but it was like, no, there's still that underlying anxiety. So was there something specific that made you realize, oh, this is something I need to be aware of and like work with?
That's a good question. And yeah, it was very much like this last aha piece. And it seems like everyone really knows about this, like, heightened state and this stress state. And for me, the drop in, or the first drop in, was that there is also the lowered state. There's also this, like, freeze state,
Mm,
which I was like, oh, I'm in that state, but I'm in
yeah,
both, and you can go through both of them. But that one happens, I think it actually happens more often, and we are treating it like it's the elevated, the stress state, but you're actually just, in avoidance, you're disconnected, you're, all of these things. And that can also lead to you not feeling and not understanding these things that you have accomplished in the past, because you're disassociating, you're disconnecting yourself. And
yeah.
you can go both ways and disassociate, but there's a lot of people, you can see we're all just kind of like flattening ourselves, and like just
Mm.
frozen and like scared to take the next step. But you can go back and forth between the two, and that's also something that's difficult to navigate. But you can't treat the frozen state like you treat the stress state. And like, so you even just need to breathe differently, like,
Mm.
simple. But when everyone's like, just breathe more, like, that's not actually that's not helping, because you're in the other state, and it's just feels
Yeah,
forgotten. And I think that's something that bothers me a little bit. It's a bit forgotten, and very
definitely.
key.
Yeah, I've had moments where it's been like, oh, like I meditate a lot for stress relaxation, but when I'm in such a heightened state of stress, meditation
Mm.
doesn't work because I'm just so in my head anyway. It's really hard to
Yeah.
balance it back.
If you're frozen, meditation is the opposite of what you need to do. You need to actually move, and just like anything, like just like tap your chest, like literally, like, bring sensation down to you. And
Mm.
again, yeah, it's like using the wrong tool for the thing that's happening to you. And just like knowing what state you're in is key. Like it doesn't matter if you like just knowing that. And it's just like you can know that theoretically, but feeling that is very different. And you need to,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like you do need to uncover a few things so that you can feel that. Because I was in such a state for so long where it was like there was no way I was gonna know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we can be so in our heads about this stuff of like, oh, I know it theoretically that if I meditate and then that'll help with the stress and da 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 da. But it's like, yeah, feeling it on a heart level is a completely different thing all over again. Around like, is this actually working for me? And yeah, is this strategy the right strategy for where I'm at? I also
yeah,
heard this really wild theory the other day, and obviously I'm not making any grand claims here on this podcast, but that people, you might think you're an anxious person, or you might think potentially you have ADHD, and maybe you do, but also maybe you're just in a heightened stress response a lot of the time, and that's just become your normal, and that's your way of relating to the world. And I was just like,
very much,
what?
yeah,
We
yeah.
just don't know how to calm that. That's not something that we've been taught.
Yeah, I agree. And it just perpetuate like you can I think like you can be this ADHD symptom, but you're just perpetuating it, by not slowing down and not changing it
Mm,
and not like knowing why you're doing things. And yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's really helpful to be like, oh, I'm ADHD, but like to uncover like, okay, that's cool. And now how do I work backwards from that? And it's again just like finding yourself, finding your nervous system and like being more in tune with that again and not just like accept. I don't know, you can't just accept it. Like I don't think you should. You are all over the place. Like that doesn't have to be your truth. Actually, I went through
Yeah.
that recently where I went through a really heightened state and I was just trying to figure this shit out, but I was like forgetting like the garage open. I was like I was losing my mind. I was like, I don't know how to do anything right now. My
Yeah.
brain is so unclear. I feel like this ADHD is just like attacking me. And then I was like, no, like I'm just heightened. And it was just really coming back to intention, slowing
Mm,
down, and that fixed it. Like, it didn't have to be my reality, like moving forward. I was just like, okay, bring it back. We can fix this. Yeah.
yeah.
But if you just accept it, you're just gonna let it snowball or let it be it. And then I don't know, one needs to live like that. There's a woman that was in my collective, and she healed herself from like 100+ illnesses, and was she had amnesia for years as well. And then she taught herself neuroscience, and she very much is on this topic of like you don't like ADHD and things, and these diagnoses don't have to be your reality. They're reversible.
Mm,
Like I
mm,
think anxiety too always ends up in that category of like you're just anxious, and I'm like, you're just dysregulated like
yeah.
perpetually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it a trauma response or is it a personality trait? Like that's two different things.
yeah,
And I guess we just don't know what our actual base state of calm is because we're just so heightened from like social media and like I don't know,
yeah,
all the things people do to relax these days, social media, TV, things like that, don't
it's all
actually relax
heightening.
you because it's more stimulating, right? Like,
Yeah, you sit there and watch a movie, and it's telling your body that you're unsafe. Like you're watching, especially if you're a horror movie, but any drama or action really is still telling you you're unsafe. Like I
mm,
sit there now sometimes and I'm like, I am safe watching shit. But it's helpful. Like but that's only because I know that I'm gonna like tip over the edge one way or the other. And you can
yeah,
build this window of tolerance where that happens less and less. And coming for me where I was so anxious, like I literally didn't sleep for like forever.
mm,
So like my mom too would not sleep at all. She would be up till 3 a.m. all the time. Like that's the kind of nervous system I inherited.
yeah, yeah,
and I was like, my brain's never going to be quiet, and I let myself label myself as anxious, and that helped. Like
mm,
the label helps. It really does. You go,
yeah,
it's just my anxiety. It's just fine. Like ride it out. But like when I worked on my nervous system, and then I was like, holy shit, I have like silence in my brain.
yeah,
Like this silencing. Not everyone has a narrative in their brain, by the way, as well, which is super weird. But
mm, I
if
have
you
heard that.
have one, it's super mean a lot of the time, especially like if you have a
Yeah,
dysregulated nervous system. And I've found like days of calm or like an hour of calm, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It's quiet.
yeah,
And I just kept building on it, and now it's like here, and I meditate and there's nothing, and I'm like, I literally like a month or so ago, I was like, so what do I do here? Because there's like nothing happening. And I'm like, just go to the quantum realm. It's fine. Um, yeah. I'm like, there's no like noises. There's no like, thoughts being like, I need to go do this. I'm like, okay, what do we do now?
What a
But yeah,
beautiful place to be able to sit in the stillness of like literal nothing. Like I know it's scary for some people, I think, to be there of like, why is there nothing? Like, where have the thoughts gone? Am I doing this wrong? Whatever. But it's like,
yeah,
we need that. I think we need that unplug every now and then of our brains. Like, we're just so going 100 miles an hour all the time. It's like, to be able to have that hour of stillness, I think makes all the difference in someone's life.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for anyone who might be like, oh my God, how is that even possible? Like, where do I even start trying to get to that level of like nothingness?
Yeah, interesting. I would bring it back to the nervous system again, just like understanding the state you're in. There's a few resources that you can do, or I'm gonna do some more workshops in the collective on it
Great.
because we're so unaware of it. Um, but it's interesting. There's some people that like know this, but I'm like, you know this, but I can see that you don't feel it. Like you don't actually use the tool.
Oh, you're
Um,
embodying it. Yeah, is the other thing.
yeah.
Mm.
And like maybe like just know that when you're not feeling stable, like there's two ways that you can go. And I think maybe even just taking that on is like, are we heightened? And if we're heightened, we need to release the energy. We need to, um oftentimes, like, I guess if you can meditate, but sometimes you're just too heightened to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're in this lowered state, you need to also move. But sometimes that's where like depression and things lie, right? So you might just be stuck in bed and unable to do it, and that's just literally like tap on your chest, tap on, like, go on, tap on your arm and be like, this is my arm, I'm tapping on my arm until you feel it, because you're just
Mm.
not feeling it. So there's a couple things that I would do, because just remembering that there's a spectrum. And to me, the actually what the driver for me was to know that this didn't have to be my reality forever. It was like that you can increase this window of tolerance so that you don't have to meditate forever. You don't have to meditate every day forever, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
Like, you don't have to do these tools every day forever. It always frustrated me that my partner was like, fine. And I'm like, why do I have to meditate like 3 times a day to just get through it?
Yeah.
Or, do something, tapping or anything. And then it started to just get better and like wider, and like it's scientifically proven that like you're basically, you have more of an overflow, you have more of a space where it's
Mm.
not going to happen as often. And that's the truth of it. And no one told me that, because I was like, if you're going to make me meditate every day, I'm not doing it. I'm not signing up to that. But if it's temporary, like, that's more motivating for a human, right? Yeah.
Definitely. It's hard to be consistent. And I think a lot of people would have tried and the wrong tools for the wrong energy as well, and been like, this isn't working for me, I'm not going to bother. And I think there's a very important piece around that of like trusting yourself and trusting your body of like, what is the right tool that I need today? Like, is it,
Yeah.
do I need to dance the feeling out? Like, is it, I just need to go for a run right now to get this out because I've got all this heightened energy that has nowhere to go? Like,
Yeah. And you
yeah,
can push yourself farther. You can go, I feel like I need to move, but that, like, go for a run or whatever. But you're like, no, you're already too so heightened. You're just gonna make it worse. So go for a
yeah.
gentle walk, like, you know. And it's just those little tweaks. And if you just keep tweaking those little things, like, it's life changing. It really is.
I just don't
Yeah.
think we know how to relax in this society. It's all about like, what can I do to progress? What can I do to look after everyone else? Like, it's all, we're just such in our wounding. It's like taking the time out for ourselves is just such a big ask. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like it's just piling things onto, like, if you have like a mug or whatever, like, this is your mug and you're filling it with like social media yelling at you that you don't know enough. And then like your job is like hard. And like, you have kids to take care of, all these things. Your mug is so full. And it's one of these things of regulating your nervous system, or, you could use breath work. There's a lot of ways to use it, but like, it's overhyped a little bit, but like literally there's just a bit of breath like starts to release that mug and like let it go down so that it's not overflowing the edges, so that you're not going outside that window of tolerance type thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's
It's,
a there's a really interesting thing. There's a theory, or there's a belief or a knowing that I now have, is that you actually need less oxygen, you actually need more CO2 in your system, and that actually creates more calm. So if you want
Yes.
focus and calm, hold your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
because
feels
it
counterintuitive, right? Like,
super counterintuitive. Is yeah, sometimes you breathe too much and then so you don't have enough CO2, so then it essentially the oxygen can't get off of your blood cells to like oxygenate your body, so then your body thinks you're dying a little bit, so
my
then you get
God.
into more of a heightened state. Yeah, so if you're like going on stage or something, like don't, hold your breath for a bit beforehand, and it's
Mm,
the most calming thing. So you just
yeah.
like, you're balancing out your CO2 to oxygen. Yeah, that's, I think that was one of the coolest things that I was like, oh, that's another
Yeah,
like key missing piece that's been so helpful. Yeah.
definitely. And it's like, yeah, where have all these things been for years? It's only just dropping in now. And it's like, I recently heard that as well. And I was like, what? Like, CO2 is
Yeah.
important. I think they were like, you breathe out more than you breathe in. And that can be really helpful sometimes, like, just to calm
Yeah.
you and regulate you. And I was like, what?
I was confused as I was doing breath work and I was like, why is the breath hold the part that I'm enjoying the most? And
Mm,
why is that? And then I was like, oh, this is, and when I uncovered why, I was like, oh, okay. So it's like normal to want to do that. That makes sense. And that helps as well. So yeah, follow that.
interesting. And did you notice a correlation between like kind of putting these tools into practice and your business?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much. Like I don't even, there's no words really. Yeah, like I was just doing business, like, just taking the next job, or like, just creating the thing because I needed to create the thing, and now I create because it feels good to create, and it's a little bit
Yeah.
like creating when I want to create. I don't know, you make yourself that space, I guess.
Mm,
But just being so grounded, which is, never thought I would be grounded, um attracts more people, and like I can have more like better conversations, and like I
yes.
can, now I want to host workshops, which is not a thing I wanted to ever do. Now I want to speak
Mm,
on a stage, and like something was dragging me that I need to do this for
yeah.
like forever now, and I was like, how am I ever going to do that? And I just kept going for it, and I might not have done those things yet, but like I've done them, like, but I did that when I was anxious, I did that on autopilot. I was like, we're just doing it. We're just fucking going. And
Yeah.
it was scary as shit, and I would choke and all of that. But now I'm like, I can do those things and it can be my norm. And
Mm,
like, let's fucking go.
yes.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
feel like there's so many people out there in the world who like have those aspirations or these dreams to like, I'd love to be on stage, but there's just so much fear and there's so much anxiety and there's so much, this is too hard, this is too hard. And I think that it sounds like that's the difference. It's like, yeah, we can force ourselves on stage and we can panic and we can rush it and we can try and get through it as quick as possible because it's so hard, and kind of miss all the enjoyment to it. Or we can actually do some regulation stuff around, let's work through the fear, let's sit with the fear, let's give it the space and the stillness to actually like exist, instead of trying to suppress and to rush and ignore it.
Yeah.
And then the return on investment, if you want to put it in business terms, on that is the actual enjoyment of the activity, right? Like you get to really deepen into wanting to run workshops, and it becomes more of a pleasure and a joy instead of um, completely anxiety fueled and filled. Um,
Yeah.
mm,
I never understood how people enjoyed running workshops or things like that, right? I'm like, surely they're just, I don't know. Like it would take me probably like a week or whatever to prep for it, and I would not sleep. Like I was like, there's no way I could do that sustainably. Like that's not
yeah.
happening. So then I was like, what else do I have to like uncover in me to get there? Um,
Mm,
yeah, so I agree. It's a journey. And I think we were talking about too, like not rushing the journey, and like just letting yourself become who you need to be able
yeah.
to handle that. Because yeah, some part of me was like, I need to speak on stage is at this time, and I'm like, but then not trusting the timing, it was like this, it just is, it's just disastrous. It just can be. And then
Yeah.
like letting it unfold, so the puzzle pieces just like come together, where it's like, this is when you need to do it, and like this is the thing you needed to learn before that so that this would go well, type thing. Like
Yes. Yeah. I think that's so underrated skill set right there. It's like, yeah, anyone can put together a list of like, I need to be on stage by the end of this year and I need to do this, 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 this. And you can grind and you can fight for that and you can rush it all you want. But it's like sometimes we think we know best, but sometimes the universe actually knows better. And it's
yeah.
like, it's really hard to sit in that space of uncertainty of like, oh, should I rush it or should I wait until next year when another opportunity arises? But I think you've hit the nail on the head there of like, but there was some key lesson in the middle there that you needed to learn that made you be able to be that person on the stage who was, you know, facilitating really well or holding the space well or whatever it is, or like, you know, holding their anxiety well. That wouldn't have been learned if you'd rushed it or if you'd gone too quickly. So
Yeah.
you mentioned control before. So what's your relationship with control, and how were you with control in your business, and how are you now?
Interesting. Oh my gosh, control. Everyone loves to control everything. And again, like you're dysregulated, you're like, oh my God, grip onto it all. The more that I've just kind of, I don't know, I've had to like step away from listening to other people's opinions and like listening to online
Mm,
and stuff to let go of control pretty
yeah,
much, and just leaned into like, what do I want and who am I, and like let's come from here, and like how do I make this want to be creative, like me being want to be creative or anything
yeah,
like that. Because again, all the noise, it was like, do it this way and do it that way, and that in itself was so confusing, and then you're just sitting there like trying to control it because you're like, I'm going this way because they told me to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, like that's what I took away from it. I was like, well, what is the silence in me telling me or the noise in me telling me, and really filtering out what other people were trying to make me do.
Mm.
Yeah, when I released it, it was, it didn't go that badly. Or if it did go badly, I was, again, just learn from it and just write it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think control is such a natural reaction to anxiety and like fear and like, oh, I'm getting on stage and I've got to do it right. And this is the way I'm going to do it right, is by doing this, 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 this.
Yeah.
And the antidote to that is like, yeah, learning to trust yourself and trust your inner stillness and your inner wisdom, and not have to, you know, go by what the experts say or go by what my mum says, or like just live in that fear-based opinionated space. Because a lot of the time people giving you those opinions are doing it because, you know, they're like, oh, we don't want you to get hurt, so you better do it this way, which is just mitigating the risk kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
um
Which,
but I think,
yeah, it's just that's them trying to control you, that you're gonna get hurt. And I'm like, if I'm gonna get hurt, I'm gonna get hurt. Like I'm gonna learn something from getting hurt. Please let
mm,
me.
mm,
Yeah. But that self-trust is like the biggest piece of like, well, I've got me. Like we were talking about off air. Yeah. Like I've got me now, so I can do this. Like, just building that one step at a time. And my journey's kind of always been like that. I realized like when I traveled to Australia, I took like little steps. I went to different little countries and they all were like the next challenge, but they were like the next edge, but they were good. And I was like, that's great. I'm excited about that. And like just following those little excitements and those little
mm,
challenges to get to the big challenge. Like if I got to Australia before I if I just went straight to Australia, I would not have been the person I needed to be to stay here or be here or fucking start a business in a new country. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck? So just those little bits are great, and just listen to yourself. I think that was probably the best thing I learned traveling, because there's no one else around. You listen to yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, and then just relearning that for business, because it's hard when you start a business. Everyone's trying to tell you what to do, and it's great because you're like, I have no fucking clue. But but at some stage the noise gets so loud, you're like, now I have no clue again. And when you have no clue that
Mm,
second time, that's when you have to go, okay, what did I actually learn so far, and where can I take, like, where do I want to take the next step to? Like, how to run business. It's not that hard. It's just when everyone's like, this is how you make 10K, it's like, fuck, okay, I'll try that. And then you're just trying all these things
mm.
that are leading you to someone else's version of success, or they literally just lining their pockets. Really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely resonate with that so much. I think self-trust and the ability to have your own back when things get hard is like game changer. Like if you can do that, you can do anything. You can do the
Yeah.
big scary thing, you know. And I love your perspective around, you know, if I stuff up, if I make a mistake, you know, it's all a learning. It's all another part of the puzzle piece that I needed to get to the place where I actually am successful.
Yeah.
Uh, Found that really beautiful. Can you give an example of like you went to another country and you learned something and then that helped you in your journey to Australia or even journey to business?
Oh my gosh. So many little ones. Um, uh, I was thinking about today. I went to Thailand to do Muay Thai for like a month because I was in England and I went all like wild and I went like just be a crazy human being and then
Love that.
and it was fun. And then I was like, but like little things led me to want to go do Muay Thai, like people I've met. And then I was doing Muay Thai in England. But yeah, I just did like a month there. You know what reminded me of it? I had instant coffee today because my coffee machine died. And I was like, oh, this is like that mud water I had at 4 a.m. to go on those runs every morning. It just transported me back there. But yeah, that was like I was like, why the fuck would I want to do that? But I was like, that's a challenge and whatever. And you know what was actually okay, it's actually literally like all this stuff fell into place. So it's a good example of I
Mm.
met people that are Australian that literally got me my first job in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And other people that are like really high up in like criminal things. And it was really interesting though, because I didn't know any of that about Australia. And I was like, oh, okay. I am friends with these people now. Fuck. um, but it was so fascinating. And I was like, that really prepared me for Australia with A, the people, but B, the like they told me
Right.
what Australia was. I don't know. I wasn't it got me back to being more responsible as well and like just
Mm.
figuring out what I wanted. And then I wanted to, you know, be fit or be strong. I actually really just want to be strong, really. And it
Yeah.
was really good because I came here and I was like, everyone likes fitness and strength and like that kind of stuff here. And I was like, oh, this is where I need to be. Like England was
Mm.
not it. England was like, let's drink in pubs, and that was fun as fuck. But yeah. Yeah,
How
I
did
think
you know
that's the
England was not it?
it just was so hard to settle down. Like it was really fun and it was what it needed to be. But I was also really responsible. I was running like restaurants there. Like what the fuck?
Oh,
Um, which was like, why am I doing this? um, but yeah, it was like it was really hard to get a bank account. Like it was just like pushing me out. Like it was just felt
yeah.
like it was pushing me out. And then those are like the signs that I followed where I was like, okay, this isn't it. Why would
Mm.
Australia? I don't know what about Australia is literally when I lived in Canada, I would like, you know, fill out a form. I've told this story before, but I'd fill out a form and I'd be like scroll past to Australia to Canada. And I was like, I just want to, you know, put Australia one day and now I do that. It still blows my mind. Um
That's so intuitive.
yeah, and again, like when I started business, I feel like I shoved all that intuition away and just kept listening
Mm.
to others. And
Yeah.
then again, like coming back to it and being like, I am intuitive. And these are the memories that I have that I was like, why didn't I just listen to that? Like that led me really well into really
Yeah.
good places. And the times I ignored it, I fucking like got screwed like bad. Like ish, you know, that's when I made mistakes. And I was like, none of those killed me. Yeah, and they were all hectic.
Yeah, I think it's such an underrated skill of like actually trusting the signs and actually trusting your intuition that is leading you on the right path. And
Yeah,
we've never been taught that. We're so used to just going by the fear-based mentality of like, I've got to do this, so I have this and security and whatever. And moving countries is a big thing. Like it's a scary thing. And I can see why you wouldn't want to just make that lightly and you would want to like take some time. And I love that, yeah, Thailand was kind of like you're bridging in a way of like, oh, I've met some Australians now, so we kind of understand the culture a little bit more, and we've got
yeah.
a bit of a network and a community there now. And yeah, it's
I
funny how
had
things
no
just
idea I would even meet Australians there. Like, you know, it was like
mm,
blindly going and then it blindly like uncovered. And like my life is full of those, but I think that anyone's life can be full of those is like it's that trust piece that gets missed. Like the opportunities are always there and especially when you're open to them. Like I said, open your chest to it. Like it's just they
mm,
arrive. Yeah.
definitely. I think it's wild how much like the unseen, like whether you want to call it guides or angels or whatever is around you guiding you, they can just see such a bigger picture than what you can. You only see this little snippet and you think, why am I going to Thailand to do Mai Tai? This is really random. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how this is on my life's journey, but it feels good. And I've just got this feeling good feeling that I'm just going to follow. And then the path unfolds. It just all unfolds if you follow the nudges. Um, but I think that's a really difficult thing for people to do and to do well.
Well, catching yourself in that fear is really hard. Like I even have my
Mm.
client now. She's just launching her website and she's she's pretty like a healed human, but her like triggers came up so much, and her triggers make her control, and she controls and makes lists and all those things. And I was like, this is not going to help you. Like, this is not where you need to like, and I'm just like trying to lean back into like my projectionist, my guide, my like, I'm like, you can't do it from here. Like, it's just not going to work. And you don't need to do this. It's like, you don't need to go back to this fear base. Like, like, you've got it. Like, if you lay it out, you know you've got it, and you know this is good for you. You're just reacting. So yeah, catching that is, yeah, anywhere you can bring awareness to, that's where like the opportunity is. Bring awareness to these kinds of things, and then it'll start to dissipate. It'll start to get better.
Yeah, and even just listening to this podcast of like, you know, the control is a trigger of like, oh, am I feeling anxious right now? That I feel like I need to write all these lists and do all these things and do it in such a way. And when I'm not doing it in such a way, I feel out of control. And like, so it's like, I feel like that's the first piece is like, where am I at? Am I regulated? Am I not? Am I doing old behaviors? You know, that because I feel like it gives me some sense of peace. But is it real peace, or is it kind of like just feigned peace to kind of get through the moment? And yet, how do we work with that in a different way so it's not just like falling into old habits of rushing things and smashing it out, and then, you know, you have a website that you don't really like after 2 months because it just doesn't align anymore.
Yeah. I just had someone tell me too, they just made their website and then they met me and they're like, oh wait, I need to change it again. So they like niched it and became this thing, and they're like, I'm not that. I was like, you need to do it from who you actually are, and that's why I use human design to do it, because I'm like, then it'll like evolve with you. You're an evolving human being. And yeah, like it kind of works for companies, I think, like to just be that stiffness, but like as a human, I mean, a personal brand, like no. No.
Can you explain that a bit more, that process of like what is human design and then like how you would tailor that to a business offering?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, we love the human design rabbit hole. Um, it's just, how do we even explain it? It's just this big thing that helps you uncover yourself and like rip away this conditioning that society gives us. I think it's one of the most powerful things for women. I think men kind of just live their design because they're not conditioned by society as much. But but I've seen it work for like anxious guys too, you know, because they got conditioned in a way. But yeah, so with women, like, you get your voice stifled, you know, you get shush, you get those kinds of things, and it really just like tells you, I don't know, like it self assures you of like who you are and what you're here to do and that kind of thing. um so there are, you know, a few types. There's projectors, generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, and reflectors like you. um and that, even just knowing that is enough, but there's so many more layers to it, like channels. Like, it uses astrology, it uses like, you know, quantum physics, chakras, I Ching, Kabbalah, and it's all just kind of put together in this really beautiful way that it gives you insight into yourself. And one of the best things it does is actually, as well as it gives you your strategy for decision making, which is so good for business. And the only thing it's really doing overall is like helping you come back to your own intuition. And like the cool thing about it is it teaches you where your intuition might be, and so you can feel it like physically. Like, you know, like my intuition comes from my spleen, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's just the way that it speaks to you, and mine's just like this deep feeling. And then there's other people that, you know, have like a gut feeling, and that's like a sacral you know, a decision making way. And then you just know that like you follow your gut, and that's it. And it's so key. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a whole different perspective, mindset shift of like how to do business via your human design. Or I'm hearing a lot about gene keys as well at the moment.
Yeah, gene keys. Oh my gosh, it's a wild one.
Have you
That's a
done
wild one. Man, I'm diving into it. It's just a bit much, and I'm like, I feel like it's a bit more cerebral. I don't know. Maybe just for now. Maybe it's just not part of my journey right now. But for me, like, human design let me accept who I am. And then I'm a 1-3, which is like one of the biggest parts for me was like, so 1 is like a researcher, and then a 3 is an experimenter. I feel like if you just listen to what I told you about my life, it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like have to learn it all, and then I have to do it. And like the constantly doing something different. And when I was like growing up, I was like, why can't I just stick to one thing like everyone does? And that's conditioning in itself.
Definitely.
Like, why do you have to stick to one thing? Um, but it kind of lets you live outside the fucking lines, and that's like my favorite thing. Like living differently is like my like, live differently, like literally my motto. When I feel like I'm being a sheep and I'm just following along with everyone, I just go, what the fuck are you doing? And I go, we are on this mission to live differently, fuck
Yeah.
this.
It's just like permission giving. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you don't have to be the same as everyone else, or like when you're doing things that aren't your authentic expression, like of course that's not going to resonate as much to clients in a business, in a personal business sense.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And so like I use it with websites, just like so I know who you are more, and then we create from there. And then
Mm,
I feel like your mission becomes clearer, your, you know, your voice on the website becomes clearer. Um, you just have more direction, but it also gets to just be more of a space where you can be instead of this stagnant thing. I like to make them so that you can add to them, so that you can take away, so that like
yes.
it's flexible and it kind of just operates well for you
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of instead of like being like it has to be these things, it has to be these 5 pages, it has to be this layout. I don't know. Yeah, it's more flexible than that. Mm.
yeah, definitely. I think they just come out of date so quickly. It can be really difficult if you're not in that flexibility piece of like how to do this, how to do that.
Struggled with that. Like I like evolve every week. Like so I was like, how am I supposed to get someone like convince or like create something for someone where it's not going to last them, because I can't, it won't last me anytime either if I'm like not flexible about it. Um, and everyone that I work with is very multi-dimensional, multifaceted. We're like so many things. You're writing books, you want to speak on stages, you have this drive to do bigger things that you don't know where it's coming from. You're just following it. So
Yeah,
you need
yeah,
the space to like put those things that you're doing. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. Amazing. If you had any like advice for your past self, what would it be?
Oh my God. All of the advice. That's a good question. I honestly, I would love to just tell her about my nervous system. Would honestly, because it would have helped my mom. It would have helped like so much of my family in communicating and just understanding like why we're like freaking out about certain things. I I don't know. I wish I just leaned more into energetics when I was like younger. Like
Mm,
my mom
mm.
was into that stuff and I was like, I don't get it. Like I do get it. I want to get it, but I don't get it. And just like being more in your body, just like those are the kinds of things I wish I knew. I
Yeah,
think yeah, I think I was a very like wise child, but like I was so scared that I wasn't those things. I couldn't be that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you felt like you weren't able to do it because of the conditioning of society, even though you deep down you kind of knew anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just know that you're wise. I feel like, yeah, it would have been good to know. Yeah.
I'm just like, why do they keep promoting me to restaurant manager? It's because you're so wise.
Oh my God. I've done so many things. Like, yeah, but it was, yeah. And then, like, yeah, I was trying to fit into boxes too. Like,
Mm,
I was like, find the one thing. So I was an accountant for a while and like those kinds of things. And I found my passion in people when I worked in a hotel. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. You can just talk to people and
mm.
connect. And yeah. And not to be afraid of people. I think that was the lesson well, 100%. That was one thing I had to relearn
Yeah.
after being bullied. Like that's the main trigger. That's the main thing, right? Like just not believing that people are genuine. That was hard.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and people are genuine, especially if you continue to believe that they're genuine. Like the more genuine people you attract. It's very true.
Yeah. Where did you start on that journey of like unpicking, believing that people aren't good or like that they don't want to know you? They're going to
Mm.
be mean.
That was a really ongoing thing recently, like the last few years. Here in Perth, I got like the final nail in it where these women. So I had a woman wound, like a you can call a witch wound. Was it a witch wound? Oh, sister. I had that until I've really come to Perth. And I wrote that in the book that I was in with all the women. It was so good. Try and stop her. By the way, read that. The women's
Cool.
stories are great. Um, but that really like made me understand like women are, I don't know how to explain it. So over the years, women always let me down. Like they were one thing to my face and then one thing behind my back, and it comes from a family member. But like I would always just kind of like trust, and then they would turn, and it was really weird. And so yeah, that just made it harder and harder over the years.
Definitely.
Because then you're like genuinely yourself, and then they're just like, I fucking hate that part of you, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
in itself, like trying to be your authentic self and having that shut down.
Yeah, so that was challenged a lot. What helped with it overall, I don't know, I think I just kept being that, and then just being like, if they don't like it, they don't like it. I definitely had a fuck you attitude for a while. That was helpful.
Do you need that as the middle piece before we
A
get to
little
that?
bit, yeah, but like
Absolutely.
really untangling that shield, that was it really. That like literally had the energetic shield, like someone did I don't know if she did Reiki or something on me, but she's like, there's a shield there. And then like I felt when it went away, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Wow.
Yeah. And then like the proving kind of went away, and yeah, like not trying to prove yourself to people. And I was just okay with if they didn't like me. And then more you're okay with that, the more they just do like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, yeah, when it's embodied and it's on a belief system level, you'll find it reflected out in others as well.
Yeah. And like
Um,
finding the right circles. Like
mm,
I can't talk to some normal people. We know this, like business people. We can't talk to normal people because A, they're boring, and B, they just don't get they're just not on the same wavelength. And being okay with that. You're not gonna like that if you don't resonate, it's not you. That's a huge, huge one. Yeah.
yeah, I think I've had a lot of that across my life of like, oh, this is a spiritual group. I'm going to get along really well with them because I can't call myself spiritual, right? And then I walk in and it's like, oh, no, this is not it. And
Yeah.
then like that let down piece around like, oh, I thought this would be better and now it's not. And like sitting with that and accepting that, that's okay and that it's not, and I'm not going to fit in with everyone regardless of what they identify as. Is there anything else you want to share around your journey or around your offerings or anything you've got coming up and how that resonates or relates to your story today?
I don't know. I'm really just I'm moving forward in what I'm doing in like the Amplify Collective, and I made that space for myself so that I could, feel comfortable and confident in sharing my own voice, and like finding the right people around me. And it's been really cool because the women inside are just so grounded and so understanding, and like it really helps with these fears that you might have of
Yeah.
sharing online, but then also like I think the whole like perspective shift of like it's not just online, like this whole like this all these spaces of visibility where you can be,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on the collaboration over anything. I think there's so much potential there, and I think that's just like the natural for a woman, like feminine
Yeah.
energy, just lean into that. Yeah.
And I think it's a
um,
lot more fun too. It's like when you're collaborating, you're like meeting people and you're making friends. And yeah, if you don't have those sister wounds and things like that, like let's collab, like that can be really fun instead of like let's put a post up every day for the next week. And it's very
yeah.
solo. Like business can be such a solo journey. And yeah, is Amplify Collective your way of like not making it a solo journey so you've got that community kind of around?
Yeah, pretty much. I never thought I would want to like open a space of my own. But yeah, I was like, this is really lonely. And then like the way that I don't know, the way that I make connections was so like natural in real life. And then I was like, well, how do you translate this to online? So that's what I'm trying to, I'm like a baby giraffe trying to figure it out, but it's working. like just meeting you and then having a really long conversation, and it was so flowy, and like I'm like, there are
Mm,
my people around. And like you're in Victoria. I've met people in New York. I just talked to one yesterday, and we're
yeah.
on the same fucking mission, but she's like a dancer and amazing, and she does it her way, and her words for her mission are the same as my words. And I'm like,
Wow,
we're
that's
like so far.
cool.
Her words are way better than mine. She's amazing speaking, but
Yeah.
like we're fucking going the same trajectory. And I'm like, how does that like happen across the world? And it was just so much
Mm,
proof that it needs to, I don't know, that you need to just connect. This is a
definitely.
big integral part of it. And she has a mission she wants to bring worldwide, and I have one, and we're going, worldwide with it however we can. Um and just not leaving out these, like, I don't know, not appreciating these little people, little, I'm like, quotation marks, little people, like these people around you, as something small, as like something to neglect. I feel like people are always looking outward, and it's like, who's out there that will give me my validation? And it's like, the people around you hear you, see you, pay attention to them, focus on them. They say yes, like, nurture that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you have to sell to them. I just mean, like, literally collab with them, be with them, do the thing. Like, I don't know. Don't look outwardly all the time. Look inwardly, in and then around. Yeah.
Definitely. Like, why do it alone when you could do it with someone else? I find nothing more inspiring than meeting someone with a similar mission to me. It's just like, oh my God, like, it's just like, I'm not alone in this. Like, we can do this together. And like, it needs a tribe sometimes, especially worldwide. Yeah.
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 Definitely.
What was that
It's
mission out of curiosity?
Oh God. See, I can't put it in the same words she does. Like, the mission is to like, essentially take up space, but like, be yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my whole live differently has been my motto, because I want to do more like adventurous stuff, and like, I'm going to live in a truck and build that, and
Mm.
that's and like, live off grid, and that's that's where it came from. But I'm like, everything I do is different, and like, I don't know. And there's so much value in that. Like, I moved across the world, and I inspired my friend to move across the country. Like,
Mm.
there's so much value in just doing it and living a bit differently, and like, just, and I'm not saying only inspire people, but like, why else are we here, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want people to unlock, like, their own amazing, not even just life, just their own amazing life experience. And that, and being yourself. Like, I lost myself, and so long ago I didn't know who I was, and like, finding who
Mm.
I am now is amazing. Like, that's just the journey I want for people. um
Definitely.
her journey comes from the words like inner compass, and it's that inner knowing, and it's that inner
Mm.
knowing and listening to yourself, and that self-trust that snowballs everything. And that's the mission. I want you to enjoy what you're doing, and not just do it on autopilot, or because someone told you to.
I think there's so much of like, there's like the two selves of like the person they wanted you to be versus the person you actually are. And it's
Yeah.
such a journey in itself to even get to the person you are, because it's so easy to listen to that external, and you're being validated for being the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect whatever. Like, so to step into your authentic self can often come with a lot of discrimination, or a lot of people being like, you've changed. And I think that's really difficult, but really, really important journey to be on, that journey of like, this is my fullest expression, and I love myself regardless of the way you're going to react and respond to this. And yeah, it's so beautiful. And I think it's a way shower thing to be doing. Like, and maybe that's why you need to be on stages, and you're going through this journey of like getting onto a stage and dealing with the fear of it all, and like, to be able to give permission and be that mouthpiece of like, this is okay to be exactly who you are, and it's so welcome here. Mm.
Yeah. Thank you. I found people with, like, yeah, similar, or like, they need to hear the journey too. And I'm like, I need to hear the journey from others. So like, let's just do that ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was reflecting on it today. Like, I feel like people always feel like they have imposter syndrome, but I'm like, maybe it's just a gap between who the people are around you and who they think you are, and then you knowing that you're meant to do more and you're meant to be more. And like,
Mm.
that thought came to mind, because it was like, so you want to, say you're, I don't know, spiritual something, and you're like, oh, my family is going to not like that and whatever, but you're meant for that, and there are people that
Yeah.
need that. And that's I don't know, that triggers imposter syndrome, I think, when you're like, I'm going to put that in my marketing, and you're like, no one thinks that about me.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that out there that will feel that about you and need that from you, so just keep going. And yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's how you get in touch with that authentic self, is that like that little soul knowing, that little soul calling, that's like the little thing in the back of your ear going, maybe you should get on that stage. Like, maybe you should put yourself out there. And you're like, oh God, no, 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 no. But it still comes back. It doesn't go anywhere. It just goes, what about this? Why don't you try this? And it's like
Yeah.
that little part of you that wants to be seen, but maybe is too scared, or like needs to go on the journey to get to that point.
Yeah. The
But yeah.
journey is huge.
Mm.
Actually, we talked about that part offline. Like, I'm doing speaker training, and they kind of just reflected back to me that like I have all these things that make sense in a mission, and I was like, holy shit, that's why I want to host an event at the end of the year. And like that thing I'm going to create now is going to be integral in the end of the year thing. And I literally was like, I want to do this thing out of nowhere, thin air, let's just put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% put things out there and like just say it. And like that was one of probably the mistakes I made in the past in business too, not letting myself say what I wanted and like not letting it manifest. Not that everyone needs, you don't need, not everyone needs to manifest that way, but not letting it come into existence. You're just holding it back. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
I did come to terms with the fact, I'm like, if I have to cancel it, am I going to be embarrassed? No, fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
love that. It's like the spaghetti at the wall approach, right? Like you've got an idea, you're like, I'm just going to do it. But there might be a part of you going, why would you do that? It makes no sense to do that. Like there's
Yeah.
always that little part of your brain saying, don't do it. But yeah, things fall into place, things come together. It's really weird. I've done different workshops like conflict, self-love, and boundaries. And then across my journey, I've been like, oh my God, like to be able to hold a boundary and not back down and not be afraid, like you need to love yourself. Like that makes so much sense. And then to hold a boundary, you might come into conflict. So you also need that. And it's like they seem really separate, but they all completely align. And it's like, wow, that's wild that I've got like a full journey you can go on with my workshops.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
so cool. I love that. And yeah,
yeah.
it just pieces itself together. It'll come together how it needs to be. And
Mm,
I just held myself back for so long saying the things that I wanted that I'm like sick and tired of my own shit. Like just please
yeah,
just be sick and tired of your own shit and just fucking say it and do it.
definitely. The
Yeah.
world is your medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Even if you don't even know what the fuck that is yet. Most of my multifaceted human beings have no idea what that is yet. And I'll
mm,
just
mm.
fucking keep going. And like not every season is a build season as well. Remember that. You know, you can keep going, but also resting is a part of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And why are you putting on the workshop, the talk at the end of the year? You said it
I,
aligned to your mission, and I'm curious.
I don't even know how to describe it. I literally stepped into this year and it was like, this is your year to be visible and do these things. And then I I was driving and I thought of the event, and I was driving and I thought of the community, and I love driving makes you so in your body, by the way. Um peripheral vision brings you into your body, if you know that.
Interesting.
It's really interesting. And there's people, if you don't like driving, then I feel like you are literally not in, well, first of all, you're not using peripheral vision and you're not in your body, so it's not ideal. um you're an unsafe driver anyway.
What you didn't expect to learn on the
I
podcast.
feel really strongly about that. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You do you. Freedom of expression. That's what we're all about.
Yeah. It's hard. I'm like, I love motorbikes and I drive a big truck now. And like, I just love that stuff. And it's a weird part of me that I'm like, how do I weave that into it? And it's just actually a big part of that is like wanting to help women get into these kinds of spaces. So that's how I ended up going where I'm going. And there's an even bigger vision past the stage. And like, if I only do the stage once, like, cool, that's like what it was meant to be. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, this year has just asked me to do this really, and I just kind of let it. And like, so many opportunities came. Like, I'm gonna do an in-person workshop soon, and that was like asked by other people for me to do it, and like just interesting things like that. And yeah, just knowing that by the time I get there, I will be the person that I need to be to do that. Um, and the event itself, I think, is just for people like me that well, actually, I found it really hard to find a platform to speak or, you know, practice where you're not instantly asked to be an expert. And I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
want to just make that space for people.
Mm.
Um, because I feel like they are experts. They 100% are, but they don't feel like they are yet. And I'm like, maybe I can give them some space to, that's
Yeah.
what it's going to be like. So you can come up, be yourself, get comfortable, and like also prove to your nervous system that you can do that.
Yes. Yes.
And I just want to kind of like a really experiential kind of event for me and for them. And yeah,
And
that's
just be
all.
met with so much love and support in the crowd.
Yeah. And if that can be that one bit of proof that they can move forward and do these things, like how cool would that be? That's, I think, what's
It
driving
makes
it.
it all worth it. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really interesting way of looking at like trauma and stuff, that if you can kind of learn to heal it or transmute it and prepackage it and give it to people as like I healed from this and I can hand it to you now. Like I feel like it makes it all worth it. And that really resonates with me, what you've just said about the event of like, if we can get you up on that stage and show you like that it is safe to do this and that you are welcome here, like you deserve to be here. It's like you're giving them a gift for the rest of their lives, that they won't have that fear of being on the stage anymore and they can share themselves. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, you're like making me cry. I love that. That's such a good reflection.
It made
Yeah,
me
and
feel
that's the mission, isn't it? I just want women, like literally. I've always been like wanting women to do all these things, and even when I had like the my sister wound, and like we're just so potent and powerful, and I don't know, there's
mm,
just little gaps that we can fill for each other. Like I feel like this is a gap I want to fill for people, like the
yeah.
opportunity. I want to give people opportunity. Like I literally did drift school the other day, and I was like, I want to just teach people how to drift now, because it's like women need to be in the drifting area. Which I might still do. But yeah, there's just, yeah, it's gonna unfold
Hmm.
eventually. Yeah.
So where can we find you if we want to join the Amplify Collective, or if we want to come to your amazing event? Where is your event? Tell us more.
Okay. You can find me online. So, well, my website's theantiumproject.com. It's always evolving, and please just be okay with that. It's like the mechanic's car is never ready. And you can just find me on Instagram, Amanda.petra __. I like to hang out there in the DMs mostly and the stories and stuff. Um, but yeah, you can join the Amplify Collective by like letting me know. You can try it for 7 days and see if you like it, and just see if you want to come to one of the workshops. There's just some really cool people that I meet, like you, Kiara, and it's just, why wouldn't you want to learn from people like you?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sweet. You're gonna make me cry now.
It's so true. And it's been so cool. Like all of the workshops like have fed into each other, and it's been unintentional. And I was like, I'm just gonna let them be what they need to be. And everyone's kind of like built on the other one. And it's
Mm,
like, I want you to get better at business, but I also know that you know how to run a business. Like, you know how to do business. You're just scared. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a little bit more. We're going into energetics and stuff soon,
Permission
and
given.
yeah, and nervous system and breath work, because that's where I'm going, and that helped me. And I was like, okay, we need to get this to people. Um,
Mm, and
yeah,
boundaries.
feeling safe so you can do these big things. That's all. I don't care what you want to do. Just fucking go for it.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't want what I was experiencing before for everyone anymore. I was doing stuff
Mm,
from anxiety.
yeah, yeah. I
I don't
think
want
most of the
that.
world is, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Actually, my I did like this really in-depth breath work one-on-one, and she was like, most of the successful women that I work with, they're like still so, I don't think she used the word dysregulated, but they're still so, going in like this massive wave and fluctuations. And I'm like, I don't want to get like be that.
mm,
Um, and or they have this amazing business at the front, and they're like behind the scenes, they're just a mess. And I was like,
yeah.
oh shit, that was a huge realization. I was like, I don't want to be a mess. I
Mm,
was heading in that direction. I'm not down for that to continue. That's why a lot of them have ended up with illnesses and stuff. I hate saying that, but like,
burnout. Yeah.
they know they stress themselves out to that point. And I'm like, "Ugh,
Mm,
we don't need that. We don't need more of that."
definitely not. And I think people are just, yeah, the dark side of business definitely exists, of like burning yourself out and doing like working 7 days a week and doing all this crazy stuff just when it looks all nice and shiny on the front.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, that's why it's so important to bring in that feminine aspect of like, how can we regulate? How can we bring slowness and stillness and look after ourselves, hold space for ourselves? Because, we're our number one asset at this in our business. And if we're not doing well, our business is not going to be doing well, even if it looks pretty. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to quickly share, or are you happy to leave it there today?
No, I think that's everything. Oh, I have human design readings too if you want to come for
Oh,
that. That would be so fun. I do it from this lens of like, where are you blocking yourself with your visibility, or, that kind of thing? What are you meant to do here? And like, let's lean into that and uncover that. I think it's been potent.
interesting.
It's been really cool to like uncover that for people. And just like that, finding the way that you naturally magnetize people. That's a thing that it does for you. And I was like, that's so cool. Because yeah,
Yeah.
but also just remember, like, the way you interact with people in real life, I think bring that into how you do business, and that's huge.
Yeah, where our natural strengths and abilities of like, I'm really great at communicating. All right, let's bring that in. And that's
Yeah.
something you enjoy. Let's do more of that. I love that you've been able to link it in with magnetism and your visibility stuff. It all just works itself
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the listeners. Much love, everyone. See you later.